Hello there. I've been down the town centre today, and while I was wandering around in one of the stores, there was a book section, and there was a few classics on the shelf that I remembered reading from my youth. And one of them was a school book, and I was really fortunate at school. I had a great English teacher, and we had some wonderful lessons in our English literature classes, and read a lot of books, many of which I've already mentioned. This one is one that I haven't. It's a novella by John Steinbeck, one of America's really great writers. I'm sure many of you will know. A fairly small book, but it's very tragic and it's quite poignant and hard hitting. And I think it's set in times that uh, John Steinbeck is reflected upon when he was, living through the depressions in the 20s or 30s of the United States of America. I sort of get the impression it's the Midwest farm areas somewhere, but I could be wrong. I'm not very up on the where the various physical geographical places of the American continent. Where certain farms are, where Rocky Mountains are, where tropical forests are. I have a sort of rough idea of where certain things are, but I'm not up on everything. This is a great story. It's about two drifters. One's called George, and is a simple-minded friend called Lennie. I'm looking on the back, if I can remembering their names because when I've read it, but you don't always remember their names. But they got this dream about owning a little small holding of their own, miles from anywhere, doing their own little thing and living their lives. But in the meantime, they're drifting, trying to find casual work on one type of farm to another during the time of the Depression. And I can't obviously tell you too much about the story, but Lennie, simple-minded Lennie, relies on his mate George, who sort of looks after him, as they're going about these things. It becomes a rather tragic and poignant story, but it's so well written. This guy really does know his onions when it comes to putting across a good piece of prose. So, uh, very highly recommended. Great one from my school days, but I have read it again several times since because it's a novella and it's one of those that's easy to read, but it's a clever story and it's very reflective of the sort of times that Mr. Steinbeck must have lived in as a person growing up through the Depression. But I highly recommend Of Mice and Men. If you haven't read it, give it a go. All the best.